Hello, loves. Hello, hello. Hills here from the Blue Flame. How are we doing? How was that Gemini new moon for everyone? And welcome to the Aldebaran Gateway. We are fully in it. The sun is just getting ready to make its conjunction with the Silver Gate as I'm recording this. And Saturn and Neptune are conjunct in Aries. In that vein, today, we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to do a time jump. Boop, 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 boop. We are going to jump straight through the month of June and have a conversation. Sure, it's a conversation. We're going to have a conversation about the first 2 weeks of July. Wow. So I'm going to start this by sharing that as I felt into this very transformational, transitional year that is 2025 by our current era calendar, we have a lot of movement, right? And these are things that are very evident if we look at all of the outer planets are switching signs. In June, actually, Jupiter will be switching signs as well into Cancer. But the gas giants, everything far away is changing signs all in one year. It's also a 9-year, which is a completion cycle number. It's the year of the snake, shedding skin, transformational energies. All of these things were keying us to a truth that this is a transitional year. Venus shifted from evening star to morning star. The nodes shifted from Aries Libra to Pisces Virgo. So many things changing. The piece that really felt very interesting to me is that there were certain months during this year, or parts of months. Let's play around with this idea that what we call the months are really just simply like the lines on a map, something made up long ago that we've all chosen to believe. But the periods of time, those transitional time periods, still serve us in this moment. So we'll use them, okay? There were months, and now that we're coming into about halfway through this year, we can start to feel into them, to feel how much movement was in January and how February invited us to integrate more. How much movement, how much intensity even was in March. And how April, though there was still things happening in a transitional, transformational year, there is always things happening. And honestly, if we're really connected, we can understand that there is always things happening all the time. It's just like the solar storms. Sometimes they are greater in their intensity. This first 2 weeks of July, and the reason that I've been guided to bring a video for it together for us so early, giving us a month to prepare, is one of those such times. We've kind of had this every other month phase going for 2025, and that's going to continue. Not that August doesn't have a lot going on, but September, ooh, that's another one. There are just certain periods of time that if you future cast, if you touch into them, you can feel the electricity in a different way. You can feel the electricity in a different way. So what is it that is making July so, especially those first 2 weeks, so potent? Let's look at the current of energy that we'll be navigating during that time astrologically, and we'll start to feel that, okay? It begins on the 5th of July. So the 4th of July here in the United States, we have our Independence holiday, right? We all get together and we celebrate and we light off fireworks and we sing joy and praise to the independence, and a lot of times forget about some of the ways that that was earned or granted to us. But we are celebrating the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Now, interestingly, the date of that signing is when Pluto was in Aquarius last. So we have that also playing in this, as Pluto is already retrograde and moving back through those early stages of Aquarius where Pluto was when that document was signed. So then the next day, the 5th, Neptune, already in Aries, moving around in that second degree of Aries, spins around, begins its retrograde motion. It will make it all the way back to Pisces by September. And there's that September again. But it's moving closer to Saturn. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction is active this entire year and into next. It's moving closer. It's getting tighter. Okay? On the 6th, 7th, we celebrate it on the 7th, the 7-7 gateway. The sun makes its exact conjunction to the stellar dimension of Sirius. This is a profound experience for a lot of us. That moment when the sun and the stars that we call Sirius, there are more than one, there's 2, maybe 3 stars in that cluster. That stellar dimension is very connected to the energy we call Christ consciousness. It is one of the, well, let's move over here for a minute. We talked about Alcyon and the Pleiades and their connection, that stellar dimension, that state of beingness that's so connected to the DNA, the elemental structure of mattered existence. Sirius, that stellar dimension, could be said to be more connected to the Ka, or the light body, to the formation of the connection, the silver cord, even in some traditions, that connects the light body to the physicality. And the technology, holders of that ancient wisdom of integration between the light body and the physical body. Christ consciousness, the Christos, is this energy, right? So when the sun meets in conjunction with the stellar dimension of Sirius, we have a portal straight through our soul star to that stellar dimension. It is a massive light body activation potential moment for us, okay? So Neptune turns retrograde, then the sun, almost right away, just as that happens, meets up with the stellar dimension Sirius. Then, the next day from there, Uranus makes a conjunction with Alcyon, as for the first time since I believe around World War II, Uranus enters Gemini. Now, as Uranus enters Gemini, coming into that 0 degree, we start to activate a really powerful sextile between, and this is something that was activated as Saturn and Neptune were leaving Pisces as well, a really powerful sextile between Uranus and Alcyon. conjunct new earth, new technology, new ways of walking in the world, new ways of communicating and seeing and feeling and hearing and all of the things. New ways of expressing. With Saturn and now Neptune's retrograding, moving ever closer to Saturn in Aries. A sextile, we'll remember, is a bridge to a gift. Is a gifting, a beneficial arrangement. It is kind of a way to leapfrog into another energy, right? It helps connect the dots. On the 10th of July, just after Uranus enters Gemini, we will have the Capricorn full moon. Structures, the bones, the foundation, the scaffolding of our beings. And now Capricorn, of course, is ruled by Saturn. So we are feeling that Dharma energy, coming into bringing more connection to our relationship between our soul self and our physical self, between the planes of being, between our whole interdimensional beingness. Then, on the 13th of July, Saturn turns retrograde. Can you feel the magnitude of all of this occurring in the same less than 14-day period? So how to prepare and what to expect would be the next questions. Over the month of June, as we integrate, as we come more fully into the awarenesses that have been trickling over the last few years, over the last couple of months, and in May, as we move to the Sagittarius full moon, as we move through the solstice and the Cancer new moon, we will be laying foundations. We will be creating space, in our systems. Now, like I shared in the Gemini new moon video, because this incarnation journey comes with free will, we can try and block the information flow. We can try and pretend, we can ostrich, we can stick our heads in the sand. However, my sense is that the intensity of these first 2 weeks of July, if we do that, may overload us. And so the invitation here is to spend the month of June in a state of stillness as much as possible, in a state of openness. What practices can you engage in that help facilitate open heart, open mind, open creative center? Perhaps it's leaning, sitting with a tree, leaning with your spine completely connected to its trunk. Working in the garden, if you live in a climate where this is summertime, getting your hands in the dirt, getting your feet in the streams, really connecting with Gaia, with nature, and with the elemental beings, air, water, fire, and earth, can be really helpful in this. Stillness practice, breath practice, really allowing a clearing of the sinus, a clearing of the sinuses. And for a lot of us, this time of year can be hay fever or so much blooming that our sinuses get clogged. So steam, eucalyptus, lotus oil on the third eye. Breathing into the heart space, following the breath. And that was one of the practices that we worked with. That was part of the light activation for our Gemini new moon, in fact. So head over to Circle if that interests you. With this Gemini energy that we're moving through, ways of expressing and creating in the world. Petra has come up to say hello. Ways of expressing ourselves. So whether it's writing or drawing or singing or dancing, really allowing our full beingness to let go, by which I mean place out into the world our thoughts, anything that's congesting us in that way. Writing poetry, journaling, all of these things help open us and foster stillness. Now, dancing, it doesn't necessarily seem to have stillness in it, does it? Because we're moving, especially if you dance like me, which is a little bit like a whirling dervish. However, it's not the stillness of the body that we're talking about in this moment. We are talking about the stillness within. And when you dance, you can foster that stillness within, just as you can in seated meditation. So feel what's true for you. And as we come to the Sagittarius full moon, what is true for you is the prescription. Sagittarius is very concerned with highest truth, seeking, ever seeking for highest truth. So what is true for me? How can I stay more open? How can I be more open? How can I integrate that which has already come through to make space? How can I release the congestion, anything that's clogging my system? Because as we come into this time period, of July, and we feel all of those activations coming through, the more open, the more unclogged we can be, the easier it is going to be for us to allow the movement. The sextile between Uranus and the retrograde Saturn and Neptune is going to continue to tighten all through the month of July. It is going to hit its pinnacle of conjunctionness right around the Lionsgate portal, the 8-8, which is the observed celebration of the re-emergence of Sirius as a morning star in our pre-dawn skies. This entire time period, what we call the summer here in the Northern Hemisphere, what you call the winter in the Southern Hemisphere, from June 1st through the end of August, was the celebration of the flood and the new year in ancient Egypt, because it coincided with the flooding of the Nile. It is a time of regeneration, of growth. For us here in this era, in this elevationary moment, It is a flooding of the spirit into the physicality. We have profound opportunity. It is upon us now to make the most of it. I will have updates between now and then. I'll have my Sagittarius full moon update. I'll have something for the solstice and the Cancer new moon. We will keep playing in this field between now and July. In the members portal and circle, if it calls to you, links below, we will have lots of things moving through. And we'll also have our apothecary treats, which are some tools to help us navigate this. So come on over, join the community, or come into the inner sanctum, whatever calls to you. Let me know what you're feeling when you energetically touch into the month of July. How is it moving through your system? And before I close this update, please know that for many of us, we are going to be called upon to hold space, to teach, to witness in more visible ways as the month of June gives way to this powerful portal. Because as I mentioned before, this is a collective energy that is going to hit everyone, whether they think they're spiritual beings or not. And for a lot of people, it is going to be a shake up and wake up. And it's going to be painful and it's going to be hard. And those of us who have been doing the work, who understand that we are souls having a human experience, for those of us who have been in it, because we have this understanding already, we are able to witness for our loved ones, to hold space for our loved ones, to share wisdom with our loved ones about this, and to be medicine, to be way showers, to be light workers. This is what it means to be a light worker in these times. Remember to breathe, my friends. We've got this, and I've got you, and you've got me, and yay. Thank you. And yes, leave a comment. Let me know how you are feeling this movement. Like the video, subscribe, share, all of the things, and come over to Circle if that calls to you, if that is your highest truth. And as always, in the always is so much and many loves from the dimensions of the all and beyond the beyond. Thank you.